Welcome! I'm Vivian from the ArcGIS Maps SDK team. In this video, I'll show you how to display a viewshed using ArcGIS Maps SDK for Swift. A viewshed is used to display visible and obstructed areas when seen from the observer's perspective. A viewshed analysis is performed on a scene, which is a collection of layers in 3D. To display a viewshed, I need an access token that has privileges to use the base map styles and elevation privileges. In this example, I'm going to use an API key credential. I'm signed into my portal with my ArcGIS location platform account to create a new API key credential. I create a new credential and enable base map and elevation privileges. For step-by-step instructions to create an API key, see the links in the video description. Now that my API key has been created, I can copy the API key so I can use it in my project. To create the application, I'm using the project and code solution from the Display a Web Scene tutorial as a starting point. The solution displays a basic web scene. The complete tutorial instructions and solution are available in the video description. My first step is to paste in my API key to set the ArcGIS environment API key property, and I'm ready to start coding. Moving over to the Content View Swift file, I modify the scene variable with the Yosemite Valley portal item ID. Next, I create a class named Model that is an observable object. I also need a state object reference to the model class in the Content View struct. To learn more about managing GeoView states, check out the Programming Patterns page linked in the video description. Then I create an analysis overlay which manages the display of one or more analyses on a scene view. A scene view is a user interface that displays scene layers and graphics in 3D. Next, I create a variable to contain the location viewshed. I create a variable named maxDistance and use a didSetObserver to set the viewshed's maximum distance and allow it to be changed by the user. In the initializer function, I initialize all of the properties, set the viewshed to not visible upon launch, and add the viewshed to the analysis overlay. I create a method named setViewshedLocation that receives a point as a parameter. This method is used to set the location of the viewshed and make it visible if not visible already. Likewise, I create a separate method to hide the viewshed when needed. To allow the user to place the observer for the viewshed analysis, I need to add touch events. In the Content View struct, I add the overlay to the scene view. To add or move the viewshed analysis upon long press or drag, I add the onLongPressGesture method to the scene view. In the closure, I call the previously created setViewshedLocation method, passing in the scene point. To control the viewshed analysis, some UI elements are required. To the scene view, I add a toolbar and toolbar item group with bottom bar placement. Then, I add a slider to the toolbar with the model's max distance property as its value, set the range, and add a frame. The slider changes the viewshed's maximum distance by expanding or contracting the size of the observer's field of view. The maximum and minimum value properties define the range of the values the user can select to calculate the viewshed. The distance is calculated in meters. Lastly, I add a clear button to reset the analysis. The clear button calls the hide viewshed method, which will hide the viewshed to allow a fresh start for the new analyses. Now I'm ready to run the app and display a viewshed. Here's my app with the scene and the toolbar at the bottom. When I execute a long press gesture, a new viewshed is created based on the value indicated on the slider. The red areas represent areas unseen by the observer, whereas the green areas are visible. I can also drag the slider to change the size of the viewshed. Thanks for joining me. The full tutorial is linked in the video description. To learn more about building mapping apps with Swift and ArcGIS, please visit the ArcGIS Maps SDK for Swift documentation. Thanks for watching.